has released video in which its forces can be seen taking control of a village, Shandry Ho Love, in Ukraine's Donetsk region. As per reports, some of the footage has been verified. Road layouts, buildings, and tree lines matched with the satellite imagery. Moscow has announced today that its forces have secured the area. This marks another advance in Russia's push through eastern Ukraine, though Kyiv has not commented on the claim. The Donetsk region has seen some of the fiercest fighting since Russia's full-scale invasion began in February 2022, with control of even small villages becoming highly contested as both sides dig in along the eastern front. Now, for this discussion, we are joined by Mark Sutherland. He's a geopolitical commentator, joins us live from London. Thank you, Mark, for staying with us. Now, we saw this news and we see that Kyiv has not commented yet about this announcement. How should we, as international community, interpret this Russia's military advances, and what steps can be taken to ensure accurate information about this war?
You raise such an important question, and as you've said, in the Donetsk region, and that region has been fiercely contested since the Russian invasion of February 2022, and there are terms like, both sides digging in, which refers to me to like First World War, trench war. And I think maybe if I have my facts right, that village was taken a few years ago, fairly early on within the invasion, if I had those facts right. But it just shows you suddenly it's taken back, then maybe it's taken back again. This ebb and flow that is going on. It sounds really awful to even discuss the fact that we're talking about human beings that are dying on both sides and people are trying to kill each other. But this is the reality on the ground, which is literally fighting for each individual village. What is also, if this is true, and there is independent comment on this from Ukrainian reporters reporter in one case, where to say in the last few days in that village that the Russians are holding one child as a shield to make sure that Ukraine forces don't shoot them back and don't retaliate. As they're holding this child, and sadly, in one report, if this is true, saying that the parents and the adults have been shot in that regard, and that's why you're asking the question: what do we then believe on both sides? Because the propaganda is so rife. However, in this kind of cases, when people are saying that 2,000 plus children are going missing, maybe it's far more than that, where families sadly have been caught in the crossfire, and then these poor children are then without parents, and the UN has been reporting on these. The reports are then passed on to them. So this is so difficult to walk through this at times. What we do know, as a report that someone said, it would take a number of years yet for even Russia to advance to take even more territory from the Ukraine, and the cost of that in regard to the human life, which we're looking at 1 million on the Russian side, maybe 800,000 on the Ukrainian side. I don't throw these figures out just as if it's like willy-nilly. We're talking about human beings and the suffering on both sides, and then the Russians have lost a lot of tanks and a lot of armor, and it seems to have not been as simple for them as maybe they would have actually thought to then advance into the Ukraine. Always the big challenge is to really try and look at various reports from all different directions, and to weigh that up. That's the biggest challenge we have. And of course, the Russians are very, very good at denial. They're very good at propaganda. They're very good at pushing their thoughts out there. And that is also this whole thing of another war front and propaganda is extremely important for both sides to say, this is what we think, this is what is going on, this is our truth. But we have that challenge to then march through that and find out, as I say, from a variety of different sources, so that we can then present the evidence. Asuma.
Yes, indeed. And thank you very much, Mark Sutherland, for joining us and sharing that insight from London as a geopolitical comment.